On the Radio is brought to you by Zurich Insurance, the perfect place to catch up with all things Melbourne. If you enjoy this content and want more inside access from the team, make sure you visit the club website.
Well, they have come thick and fast. Let's see what Greg Stafford thinks about the Demons' chances. Are they overwhelmed or are they ready to roll through September? They've got the Swans next Friday night at the mighty MCG, and he knows plenty about this time of year. He joins us on the line. Hello, Staff.
How are you, mate?
I'm going very well, mate. Very well indeed. How's yourself on a Thursday morning? Why are you up this early?
Well, in order to get out to Casey on time, this is the time I have to leave.
That's a fair point. So what time do you arrive at Casey, the beautiful Casey Fields today?
At 7:30 is our meeting starts. So I live by the Vince Lombardi rule, mate. I'm always 15 minutes early wherever I go. So I'll be there 15 minutes early.
That sounds about right to the Vince Lombardi rule. It's important you live to that. Now, how is everything there at Casey Field at Melbourne after the last couple of weeks? Because there were some concerns in the back end of the season, Staff, that things hadn't quite clicked for the D's. They're 6-6, I think, in the back end of the year, but hadn't quite clicked in the middle phases of it. But the last 3 or 4 weeks, you really did start to hum. What are you seeing from your boys?
Look, it's a pretty tough competition we play in. And one of the things about perhaps being having had success last year is that you're pretty closely monitored, and you often get teams' best performance. So it's really hard to stay up and playing the way you want all the time. But what we do have is not only a coaching group, but particularly a playing group that can adjust and can learn, striving to get better. So whilst you're in that space, you can always deal with those little tips you have, come out the other side, hopefully having learned some lessons and playing some better footy. And I think that's where we currently find ourselves.
So the maintaining the rage thing is hard. You talk about it's a tough competition and you always get the best from the opposition when you're a premier, as the D's have been. What's the driving force? What's the motivating force now? You've been there, been to the top of the mountain last year. Was in Perth, in fairness. What's the driving, motivating force now to maintain the rage?
Well, I mean, Perth and last year, that's history now. That's in the books. It's there for other people to reflect on. We're now in a season up to our eyeballs in. We love to compete. So it's a whole new ballgame for us. It's quite easy to focus on what we've got in front of us, take each training session at a time and do a really intense focus and see where it takes us.
One thing I was really interested in asking you about, Greg, was the connection piece between the midfield and the forward line. It's been a discussion, particularly in the second half of the year, about something that perhaps you've kind of gone away from where you were really successful in last year's final series. Is this something that you guys need to do better, or is it something that the opposition have kind of worked you out a little bit with that sort of midfield to forward?
Oh, well, if you're talking about last year's final series, I think it was pretty rare.
No, that's true. That's fair. That's true.
Yeah, series of events as far as the style of footy that was played. Look, I think if you spoke to any club in the competition, they would tell you that they're probably not that happy, or they think there's some room for improvement with their inside 50 connection. No one's got it absolutely locked away. It's always going to be a work in progress for us. And that will continue to be for as long as footy's played, I would have thought. But you probably are seeing a little bit better connection. And I think sometimes it's just that chemistry that starts to permeate throughout a group, and it takes some time. We've got some different personnel in there. We've got some challenges through some games, so you don't always get the game played on your terms as far as the way you want to move the ball. So there's a lot of little things that can influence our inside connection.
Because at times, and I'm interested in you explaining this. I know a lot of Melbourne supporters get frustrated with the almost like the dump kick inside 50 to maybe create a stoppage or that sort of thing, as opposed to the lead up player or trying to kick into a space situation where players can lead onto the football. Is that a plan to kick it long to contests, or is that just the way it's playing out at the moment? I hope that makes sense.
I think I get what you're saying. Often you'll just do what the game or the opposition give you. So if you don't have that room and space to hit necessarily leads or shorter options, well then your then option is to go long. Now, do we get that decision-making process right every time? Absolutely not. I don't think anyone expects any player to get it right all the time. But I think sometimes you've got to look at your risk profile and also how you want to play. And if you want to be a forward half team, and sometimes you have to attack in a way you can defend. So we'd rather the ball be living in our forward half consistently rather than trying to pick off things that get taken away from us and then we're all of a sudden we're defending again.
Yep.
I hope that answer makes
sense. No, it does. It does.
How big, Staff, is knowing you can after, I mean, you mentioned last year, it is in the history books, but you've been there and you get great confidence, I reckon, your playing group. For knowing you can win the big games on the biggest stages with it all on the line. How big a bonus is that going into a finals campaign where there's not too many other teams in it that probably have that inner belief?
Oh, well, I mean, we have a wonderful playing group that have strong belief in what they can do. But having said that, I think we're seeing some other teams that are playing really good footy and are full of belief themselves. So it shapes up as an unbelievably exciting final series for everyone involved.
And tell me about Clayton Oliver. Last night he was co-winner of the AFL Coaches Association Champion Player of the Year with Touk Miller from the Gold Coast Suns, and both absolutely worthy. He's a remarkable player. In my eyes, what makes him as good a player as he is?
Well, I suppose besides his incredible talent, which I've never seen someone with stickier Hoover-like hands that can just pick up the ball in congestion like he does, and his ability to burst and drive his legs through contest. For a made tackle, mind you, his lateral movement is incredible. I think sometimes half the ability of getting around people is I'm not sure if he knows exactly what he's doing, so everyone's confused. But I think the underlying thing that I think of Clayton most is his desire to win, and how much he can find something when the team needs it is because he's just desperate to win. And I think that as much as anything other that exists within his game is unbelievably great to have and awesome to see.
And from a team perspective, in preparation for next Friday's game, is it a freshen up this weekend, to have the weekend off, fellas, have a great time, see you Monday, or is it keep them ticking over after a long home and away season?
No, it's very much Goody's philosophy to keep the boys working pretty hard. It served us really well last year's finals campaign. So they stay on edge, they train the way they train the whole year, and you talked about maintaining the rage. I think that's the best way they can do it, is they stay match ready and battle hardened and ready to come next Friday night for a good performance. So no, it's back on the tools.
Do you feel that game against Brisbane, you needed that just to go into a final series, because it's as well as you've played for a long time? What does that do to a group, or does it not matter so much because you experienced enough to now know what you need to do in a final series?
I think you definitely take it rather than not take it. It's good to have your game on show, the game you want to play being played, so you feel like, yep, okay, yeah, it's good, but it wouldn't have been panic buttons had we not played that way. Just, I think it might be a sense that clubs ride emotion a lot of the time. I think, and this is led by Goody and the coaching staff, is we tend not to ride emotion too much. It's more matter of fact, it's more black and white, it's what we can do within the game, what's working, what's not, and just get to work and either fix them up or just address them. So, it's certainly nice to play that way, but we just get back to work regardless.
And we'd be remiss of us not to ask about Harrison Petty and how he's got through the week and going back to training. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. No, he's an awesome man within our club. We love him dearly, and no, he was, as you would have seen the way he played that last quarter, I think he was straight back on to what he needs to do, and he just does it well.
Well, the team do most things well, and the Demons fans are very, very keen to see it up close and personal this time around, this year, in season 2022 at the MCG next Friday against Sydney. It's a big game against a team who's in pretty good form themselves, Staff. We appreciate your time. You now have 20 minutes to get there 15 minutes early. Good luck.
Thanks, Scotty.